Hey everyone, Lift the Knee Weight Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a vinyl update, with some banging and everything going on in the background. Please bear with me. It's not something I can help right now, but I still want to get you guys a good old nice vinyl update. Cool? Cool. We have a lot to go over on this one. A lot of different material sitting in my lap right now, so let's get into it first, starting with a couple cassettes, one off of Secretly Canadian from one of my favorite records of the year, a singer-songwriter by the name of Alex Cameron, who has teamed up with Roy Malloy on this new album over here, Forced Witness. What a creepy look on your front cover, and it's a nice little red tape, nice little red cassette over here. So there you go, Alex Cameron, Forced Witness. Gotta give a shout out to my dude, Hot Dad, for this tape over here of his Wrestle cassette, which is this tape that he dropped where he does nothing but record and perform sort of self-envisioned theme songs for different wrestlers, many of whom you can see are listed. Now, if you love wrestling and if you love sort of corny, cheesy, 80s flavored pop and rock, you're going to love this tape. You're going to want to try this tape out, not only because of just all the funny wrestling references and the hilarious instrumentals, but also there's just like a really weird ongoing joke in pretty much every song where Hot Dad is singing about the wrestler in the song wanting to kiss the opponent, and at one point in pretty much every song here, he mentions the wrestler needing to have to take a piss. So let's go on to our final little tape over here. My dude Uncommon NASA has a new project out called Written at Night, and this little tape over here is the instrumental version of the project. When I bought this, I actually thought I was just buying the tape itself. I didn't know I was buying the instrumental version, but it's actually kind of cool to have the instrumentals since I already have the songs digitally. And what's actually kind of cool about this is on the inside, if you fold it open, I hope I'm not giving away the keys to the kingdom over here. If you open it up, NASA actually lists like the gear that he uses to put a lot of these songs together. I think it's one of his best records. It's one of the best political rap records I've heard in a while. Now I'm going to get into the records in this segment. Before I do, I want to talk about an app called Snups, or the site snups.com, where if you collect any number of things, for me personally, it's music, it's records, it's physical copies of music. It's basically a place where you can upload pictures, upload photos of your collection, organize it, structure it, share it with other people, share in the collecting experience with people who have the same sort of passion for a particular thing that you're collecting that you do. Using the app itself is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. I mean, if you used Instagram before, you can pretty much figure this thing out in a matter of minutes. I've started 4 different shelves so far, which is basically different places where you can place things in your collection. We have Weird and Rare, which I'm going to add to very soon, personal favorites, a bunch of old stuff. I've put a bunch of classic records in there. And in each little section, there's all the albums that I've uploaded. You can see the different pictures, the different descriptions, a little, sort of blurb about my experience or what I think about the record. And there are all sorts of, just a variety of different details you can add to each piece in your collection. And I've actually started a little needle drop group. If you go to the Explore option, you search up the needle drop, the group pops right up. A few people are already members of the group. Whoa, people are already adding things to the group. And if you hit the Explore tab and look up vinyl, it turns out there's a bunch of music collecting communities and groups here already. And just generally in the Explore tab, there's a ton of other groups that are devoted to collecting a myriad of different things. So yeah, hit up the Needle Drop group. I'll go over some of the posts that you guys post there if you throw in some of your favorite records in your collection, and maybe I'll review them for a future vinyl update. And remember, this app is available not only on the snups.com website, but also for iOS and Android devices as well. So basically grab the app on the App Store, wherever you grab apps when you're on Android, or you can actually just use the site on a desktop or on a laptop computer, snups.com. I'm going to add really quickly this Dope Body album. Bam! I'm just going to add that later in my personal favorites section because Dope Body's Lifer is a personal favorite of mine. All right, let's continue with the vinyl update. Here's another sweet little personal favorite of mine. Oh boy. Pig Destroyer. Terrifyer. This is a powerhouse of a grindcore album. This is animalistic, it's noisy, it's crazy, it's insane, it's intense. I mean, there's not really much to speak of with the packaging or anything. You know, it just sounds great. It's super heavy. If you're looking for a grindcore album with a lot of noise, a lot of flavor, a lot of chaos, a lot of personality, not your just usual, just like meat and potatoes kind of grindcore album, definitely check this Pig Destroyer record out, Terrifyer. It's one of my favorite Pig Destroyer records. All right, this next one is an interesting one. It comes with a little letter from the people who sent it over. To Anthony Fantano and Cal Truchesta, this is terrible, and now it's yours. Feel free to mention it or review it, burn it in your backyard. Enjoy, ? Sincerely, Wooter and Chris. Basically, they've sent me a 45 edition of the Hong Kong 97 soundtrack, which is a video game that if you watch The Angry Video Game Nerd, you should be familiar with. And I can't believe this exists on a 7-inch. I cannot believe this exists on a 7-inch now. It says on the back, of course, the year 2017 has arrived. A herd of fucking ugly reds are rushing from the mainland to release the Hong Kong 97 soundtrack on limited edition vinyl. Side Chin is theme remastered. Side Tong is Love Beijing Tiananmen. And this is the 5th of 5 copies, apparently. There are only 5 copies of this in existence. And this is one of them. Jesus Christ. This exists. This friggin' exists. Thank you very much, guys, for sending that along to me. That was really sweet of you. Really sweet. Really sweet in a mean way. This next one also comes from someone who loves the show. Adam sent this over. Adam sent over a wonderful copy of the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album Quarters, which, truth be told, is not one of the band's most intense or heavy or electrifying albums, but still, it is an interesting album concept with the record being split up into 4 separate parts, 4 separate pieces, and I actually love the album art to this thing, because you definitely have like the separation of the 4 separate visual pieces with the 4 separate musical pieces, which you actually get in the gatefold, and it folds more than one way, so you actually kind of get all the 4 pieces, which is amazing. And you know, obviously lyrics and details and stuff like that in here, but the cherry on top of all of it, which I did not know going into this record over here, is the wonderful multicolored, like purple, blue, red, clear splatter coloring over here. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. And listening back to some of the pieces on here, like the jazzy piece in 5 on this thing, it's not bad. You know, it's just not as blood pumping as stuff like Mind Fuzz or Nonagon Infinity. And you know, honestly, it's not. Neither is Paper Mache Balloon. You know, and that record's good. So I think yeah, this is a nice record. It's not one of my favorite King Gizzards, but I do appreciate you sending it over. Like, huge thank you on this thing. Big props on sending this over. Got to give a shout out to Car Seat Headrest over here with the album Teens of Denial, one of my favorite records of last year when it dropped. We got a nice gatefold over here. Heavy, like cardboard packaging. Excuse again the banging. And very, like, messy, like sort of visual sort of writing here with the I love the kind of messy traffic jam aesthetic going on here with all the lyrics on the record. Black vinyl, pretty straightforward, though it does feel like a somewhat heavy pressing. And Hometown Heroes on one sleeve, dark sleeve with white lettering, Cosmic Heroes. I love this quote over here too. This quote from Luke. Truly I tell you, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. That is absolutely true. So shout out to Will. Shout out to Car Seat Headrest, which I was just thinking the other day, despite the fact that I like this band, that's one of my least favorite band names, but I digress. Next, got to give a shout out to my dude, Iglooghost. My dude, Iglooghost. New record over here, Neō Wax Bloom. Out now on Brainfeeder Albums. Debut full-length record, or at least, you know, his debut for Brainfeeder. And this is a very nice package. This is very nice packaging. If you can get this sort of, you know, higher-end package of this record, please do. Not only is the cover art killer, and not only is the lettering on the back here, the blue, the red, the yellow, the green, like the primary colors and all that, it's gorgeous. It's wonderful. Obviously green not being a primary color, but you get what I'm saying. Sticker set on this thing. You get a friggin' sticker set. Download code, obviously. Nice cardboard sleeve, not a paper sleeve. Nice cardboard sleeve. Gorgeous crystal clear vinyl. So gorgeous crystal clear record over here. I love that weird warp traveling jelly worm with the witch hat. It's actually kind of wonderful. And what's awesome about this package is that it adds to the story and the mystique of the whole background of all these characters that Iglooghost says that his music is based around, because it comes with this weird little big pamphlet / graphic novel where it's like a little comic strip series, and it basically details all these characters and things that are happening in their little world. I'm not going to go into the storyline of it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who does end up picking it up. But it is a really amazing, cool little addition to anybody who really enjoys Iglooghost music. And for me personally, I've always been super curious about like what the whole narrative behind all these zany, wacky characters that sort of seem to go into the visuals behind his music are, and like what their whole deal is. And it's cool that he's like sort of like detailing it here in this little comic, and it would be awesome to see if in the future he comes out with like some music videos and stuff like that that kind of goes deeper into that lore. Next, shout out to Kendrick Lamar, Damn on record, gatefold, all the production credits over here: Alchemist, Ninth Wonder, Steve Lacy, Anthony Top Dog Tiffin. Yep, all the production credits. And 2 records, both of them blood red. Damn. Very nice packaging, very nice, well put together. The record itself didn't sound too much heavier or deeper. I couldn't really tell much of a difference between the packaging here, or not the packaging, but rather the sound of the record and just the digital version I had already been listening to, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just noticing now that the letters themselves do have a gloss on them, whereas the rest of the album cover does not. And I actually got myself a copy of the signed version. So we have a little Duckworth signature over there. And I actually think the way that they did the signed version is kind of genius. They send you the sealed version of the record you're going to listen to, and they send you an empty sort of little sleeve over here that's signed. And it's actually smart because you can frame this and then put this on the record player and just enjoy listening to it, and you can just sort of keep this in the frame. On top of it, it hurts and sort of prevents the whole throwing the crap up on eBay, because this is not sealed, this is not in shrink wrap or anything. So you can just frame it, just put it up on the wall, or just like throw it in a sleeve, put it in your collection, keep it there, and always have this version on tap to play and listen to whenever you want to play and listen to it. And you don't got to worry about touching it, handling it, whatever, sort of adding wear and tear to it, and you just sort of keep your signed copy sort of nice and clean. So I like that. I think that that's really good. So shout out to Kenny and Top Dog for doing that. Next, this one's going to give everybody a little bit of a giggle. However, and me as well, but to me it's a little bit more serious. But got to give a shout out to Lou Reed and Metallica on this vinyl copy of Lulu I just picked up. I've been meaning to buy this for myself for years, and I finally have. I was re-listening to it, and it's still very clumsy, it's still very clunky, it's still a very odd record. However, I still enjoy a lot of Lou Reed's lyrics on this thing. I still enjoy a lot of James Hetfield's singing. I still enjoy a lot of Metallica's performances, and I still very much admire what both artists were trying to do going into this record. It's still a very flawed album, but I do think this is a very unique sort of occurrence in music that needed to stay in my collection, because it is one of the more notable musical moments of the decade, in my opinion. And I do think Lou Reed does not get enough credit for this record. Did not get enough credit for this record, and hopefully, years down the road, he does. Not saying that's guaranteed. That's just, I just cross my fingers and hope that ends up being the case. Double album, gatefold over here, black vinyl. A nice little insert inside where they kind of go over Lou Reed's lyrics and kind of detail the whole concept and the history of the collaboration and what inspired Lou to sort of do the whole collaboration in the first place. So, yeah, I mean, I get why people don't like it. I understand still, you know, and my opinion on the album hasn't changed too deeply. But still wanted to finally have it, just to have it, because I do respect the album. I do respect the album. For as flawed as it is, I do respect the album. And finally, here's the last one we're going to talk about in this video, though I am a little just disappointed in this particular one, and that is kind of the deluxe book version of Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool. Now, A Moon-Shaped Pool, you guys already know, is one of my favorites of the year. Love this album. Think it's one of my favorite records from Radiohead, period. But this book over here, for as much as they charged for it, for me was not really like worth the hype. Like I feel like I could have used a little bit more bang for my buck, and I did buy like another copy of this and gave it away, and hopefully that person's copy is faring a bit better. Now, I mean, the thing is, like, there are a lot of nice things about the book. You know, I do like the giant visuals. I do like, you know, however, I do not care for the cardboard sleeve that the records are housed in. And I guess I just don't care for just the different types of paper that the book sort of transitions from page after page after page after page. It seems a little messy and not really all that cohesive. And on top of it, there's just something about the book when I first picked it up and when I first started handling it. Like, there was something just a little, I don't know, like a little off about it. I'm not going to spoil all the pieces of visual art in this thing, though I do think a lot of them are very beautiful. Especially this one. I actually like this one quite a bit. I do like the color gradient on this one. But kind of the weird, like, I have no idea what the heck material this is or why we've transitioned into it. But I do like that we are getting some lyric sheets in here. It just seems like I'm getting a bunch of different books in one single book, and I'm not really caring for all these, like, sort of textural transmissions. Some of the pieces I'm not really as into as others, and on top of it, I've maybe opened this thing like 5-6 times. Like, I've maybe opened it 5-6 times and, you know, sort of thumbed through it. And, like, the book has already split off from, you know, you see that split in the middle. The book, I just opened it up, again, for the 5th or 6th time, and the book just split apart. It just split off. And it's like, what is this? What, like, how are you making this stuff that is just, like, falling apart after you've only opened it a handful of times? And it's just like, it just seems like it's just a thin strip of glue or whatever. It's not even properly bound together from beginning to end. And if you're going to have a book this big, you're going to pull together so many different types of paper and material, and you're going to put it between 2 giant covers, and you're going to charge as much for it as you did. Like, the least you could do is just properly bound it all together so that it literally does not just fall apart when it's sitting in the bookshelf. So, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed about it. The vinyl itself sounds fantastic. The vinyl is very crisp, it's very spacey, it adds to sort of the alien quality of the sound of the music on the album, but again, just super disappointed in the quality and the assembly of this book. Like, I know that there's probably not a whole lot of copies of this thing floating around anymore, so any chance I had of potentially warning anybody about this thing is probably long gone at this point. But, I don't know, just not really that crazy about it, to be completely honest. I mean, I'm not going to get rid of it since the vinyl's already here, and I have the extra CD in here, which is nice. But, yeah, I'm just not really crazy about this whole deluxe version of the album, to be completely honest. But those are my thoughts on that. And that has been this episode of the Vinyl Update. Again, shout out to our sponsor, Snups.com. Thanks very much to them for supporting this segment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Over here next to my head is a playlist of all of our vinyl updates that you can check out, that you can see. And I will also leave a link over here where you can click on it and subscribe to the channel as well. And let me know maybe in the comments what has recently entered your vinyl collection. And I will catch you guys in the next review. Okay? Anthony Fantano, Vinyl Update forever.